Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video tonight, there's a few things to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Then a bit later on in the video, there's a few other things to negotiate about. So anyway, let's start with the news regarding Jadon Sancho. So according to Neil Custis from The Sun, he has recently said that Manchester United are close to agreeing a £100 million deal with Borussia Dortmund for Jadon Sancho. He's also mentioned this in a few other media outlets. Now, Jadon Sancho has come out and made an admission saying that he doesn't know where his future lies. Borussia Dortmund did recently say that they are expecting a bid from Manchester United. But he said recently we'll only go in for Jadon Sancho if we get qualification for the Champions League. But if we don't get qualification for the Champions League, then we are not willing to go in for the player. But Borussia Dortmund have already confirmed they will not let Sancho go on a cut price deal, despite, the coronavirus pandemic. It recently did say that we was only willing to pay 50 million for Jadon Sancho. Then it said we had set our limit that we're only willing to pay 60 or 70 million pounds for any player. Now, Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. They have said several times that they do want at least 100 million pounds for Sancho. We've said several times throughout the transfer saga we are not willing to smash our transfer record for the player. Our most expensive sign at the moment is Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. Now, there were stories coming out quite a few weeks ago, like I've already updated you on. It was stemming from Ian McGarry, who was a transfer expert. It was also stemming from Duncan Castles, and they'd both said that Jadon Sancho has already agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and it said he has agreed a 5-year contract at the football club worth around £140,000 a week. Could rise up to £200,000 a week further on in the deal. But as far as I'm aware at the moment, no fee has yet come to an agreement. Borussia Dortmund's asking price has been the stumbling block. Now, don't forget, Borussia Dortmund did recently say that they are now looking for replacements for Sancho because they've come to accept the fact that he does want to leave. And Sancho revealed a while back, if he is to leave Borussia Dortmund, his preferred option would be a move to Manchester United. Now, I've already outlined the reasons why I want Jadon Sancho at the football club is because he's well proven in the Premier League. He's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And, he's predominantly a right winger, and Manchester United are in search for a right winger. Recent reports have said that Manchester City have been interested in Sancho because don't forget recently Manchester City got their 2-year Champions League ban overturned by CES. So now that means City could get the players that they want in the summer transfer window. And Sancho is a former Manchester City player. He did endure 2 years with Manchester City. But the main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he never got assured any first team opportunities. Dortmund got Sancho for next to nothing. They only paid £8 million for Jadon Sancho. This has now been Sancho's 3rd season at Dortmund, so analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund. His valuation has persistently grown. Sancho has still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. It did recently say that we are willing to sell 6 of our players to fund a move for Jadon Sancho. We've already made a promise to him that we are willing to offer him the number 7, because we have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We had the likes of Ronaldo, best number 7 we've had. Best player we've had in the Premier League here. We had Cantona at number 7 at one point, George Best, David Beckham. But there again, on the other hand, we've had, bad number 7s. Depay was inconsistent. Alexis Sanchez was inconsistent. But that's one promise, we have made to Jadon Sancho. But as you all know, Borussia Dortmund have already set their deadline for Sancho, and I think, we've got until the 10th of August to sign the player. If we don't sign him by the 10th of August, then the deal is off. I think, the German transfer window does it open in October, if I am correct. But yeah, Jadon Sancho is our number one priority target. He's been our number one priority target for a while, and we first expressed our interest in him in 2017. Like I said, there's been a lot of stories about him possibly going to Liverpool because Liverpool have been in for him. Also, to Chelsea have been in for him. Actually, Jadon Sancho was a boyhood Chelsea fan. And, Borussia Dortmund are known as a selling football club. They have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years. Don't forget, they let Pulisic go, they let Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang go a few years ago, they let Ilkay Gundogan go, Mkhitaryan, they let Kagawa go at one point. There's also players that they let go who didn't go to the Premier League, and that was Ousmane Dembele and Matt Hummels. But there again, Dortmund have recruited quite a few players in recent years. They got Ireland in January, who's been a good signing for them. They got Emre Can. They got Thorgan Hazard. They also got Julian Brandt. So there you go. Fabrizio Romano's spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga quite a few times, and he revealed a while back that we've been working on his contracts for quite some time, and we've also been in negotiations with his agent. And, last month he had the Borussia Dortmund CEO. He said that he expects Jadon Sancho to stay at Dortmund because he's very convinced that no club will meet their valuation. Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss, he came out last month and he said, contrast to what the CEO had said, he said that Sancho could still leave Dortmund in the summer transfer window. And don't forget, near the start of the resumption of the season, Jadon Sancho had been fined £8,000 for breaking lockdown rules. We have been looking at a few alternatives to Jadon Sancho, because I will make an admission, there is cheaper solutions in him. We've been recently looking at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. In recent weeks, we've been looking at Rabbi Matondo from Schalke. We've recently been looking at Ferran Torres from Valencia. But yeah, so I probably expect Jadon Sancho to be our first signing in the summer transfer window. It recently confirmed that we'd signed Alvaro Fernandez from Real Madrid. We've got him on a free, and reportedly he has signed a 4-year deal. We know when the summer transfer window's opening. It's opening on the 27th of July, and I think it will be open until October. So that's the latest news anyway regarding Jadon Sancho. By the way, do you think this Manchester United team now is the best team, since Ferguson's retirement back in May 2013? Now we have got a lot of good players in our team. I think the squad's good enough for a top 4 finish. Definitely. But as it stands at the moment, I don't think it's good enough to challenge for the league, and I don't think it's good enough to win the league. And this is why I did say that we need, quite a few signings in the summer transfer window. We'll probably need around 3 signings in the summer transfer window. And Solskjaer's already confirmed his transfer priorities. He's told Ed Woodward the areas where he wants to strengthen up. He said he wants to recommend a striker in. He wants to recommend a right winger in. He's also looking to recommend a centre-half in, despite the fact that we've got 7 centre-halves in the team, and still looking to recommend a centre-defensive midfielder in that. A centre-defensive midfielder in. But like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window. Solskjaer came out quite a few weeks ago and said he's unsure what his transfer budget's going to be. Because of the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic. So he's unsure what transfer budget is going to be. He did say, Solskjaer, that our plans for next season, our transfer strategy and our pre-season plans are all up in the air because of the uncertainty of how the current season will finish. Before the resumption of the season, we had taken a £140 million loan to help us get the right players to the football club in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer has confirmed one thing, that he will avoid buying any rotten apples in the squad for the summer transfer window, because he warned our players quite a few weeks ago he will not tolerate any rotten apple. He will not tolerate any rotten apples in the squad. But the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fourth transfer window as Manchester United manager. And, there's been quite a few young players on our agenda. We've already missed out on 2 young players. We missed out on Haaland in January. And we also missed out on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. We also missed out on them. But earlier on in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career, he had worked out his transfer strategy, and he said he wants to recruit young British talents to Manchester United, like he did do last summer. Because 3 of the 5 players he has recruited in so far are British. And our expectations next season will be to challenge for the Premier League title. Because, this has been the 7th season now we have failed to mount any kind of title challenge up. And like I said, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. And, like I said, we've got to spend money, to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. But yeah, probably is the best team since Ferguson's retirement, because we are in a good vein of form. We are unbeaten in our last 19 games in all competitions. We're unbeaten in our last 12 league games. And this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. And I actually think this is our longest run since November 2010, when I think we went unbeaten in 29 games under Alex Ferguson. Obviously, we've got 2 games remaining in the Premier League. We've got West Ham and Leicester. That game against Leicester could decide who finishes in the top 4. But we know if we win our 2 remaining games that we'll finish in that top 4. But we know how important Champions League qualification is. We've got 2 other priorities for the remainder of this season, and that's the FA Cup and the Europa League, because that's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board under Solskjaer. Obviously, we're into the FA Cup semi-finals. We do play Chelsea tomorrow, and we're more or less into the last day of the Europa League. We have not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and Solskjaer has been at the football club 18 months. We haven't won out in terms of silverware for over 3 years, and that's the first time we've done that since the late 1980s. The last time we won a trophy was back in 2017 under Jose Mourinho, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously, won the FA Cup back in 2016 under the Louis van Gaal era and that. But I think we probably are going to win our 2 remaining games. I do definitely believe this. But like I've said to you, we've got very, very good players now in our team. You've got Anthony Martial. He's been in scintillating form this season. You've got Rashford. He's been in very, very good form. Like I said, Rashford was a big miss earlier on in the season because he was out with that back injury. But since the resumption of the season, done very, very well. I've been very, very impressed with Mason Greenwood. In the last couple of games, he's been a bit off the pace, but don't forget, Mason Greenwood had that ankle injury. So maybe he hasn't been fully fit recently. Solskjaer, doesn't have any element of concerns about Mason Greenwood burning himself out, because Greenwood's been getting a lot of starts recently, and Solskjaer did say that Greenwood is ready to play for England at senior level. But I think between the trio, Greenwood, Rashford and Martial, they've got nearly 60 goals between them in all competitions this season. Greenwood's on 16, Rashford and Martial are on 22 in all competitions. Like I said, Bruno Fernandes, I've been very, very impressed with him. He's made the difference in the team as Bruno Fernandes, and, he's enjoyed a very good start to his Man United career. He's got 8 goals since his arrival from Lisbon in January. He's won Premier League Player of the Month back-to-back, won it in June, won it in February, become the first player to do this since Cristiano Ronaldo for Manchester United. He's not only scoring goals, he's also creating chances, he's also providing assists. But in the last couple of games, I think he's lacked that composure, Bruno Fernandes, and that is unusual of him. But still definitely made a difference in the team. Nemanja Matic, I've also been very, very delighted with him. A lot of aspects of his game have improved. He's done well this season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Nemanja Matic, because at one point it was looking very imminent that he was going to be leaving Manchester United. Don't forget the other week he signed a new 3-year contract with the football club, did Nemanja Matic. But this has now been his third season at Man United, and since the resumption of the season, Matic has been getting ahead of Scott McTominay. My perception on McTominay, I think he's had a good season. Don't forget he was injured earlier on in the season, was McTominay for a while. But I think he's still done well. He did actually play against Crystal Palace. That was his first start since the 1-1 draw with Tottenham. He weren't so good. Too slow on the ball. That slowed the play down and had far too many touches. But still a good player and still the foreseeable future for Man United. Paul Pogba, I think he's done good since the resumption of the season, more or less. I don't think he's been at his best though in the last 2 league games, but prior to that he's made a fantastic impact. Like I said, didn't really have a perception on Paul Pogba earlier on in the season because he was out with that ankle injury and he sustained quite a few injuries as a Man United player. Hopefully Paul Pogba can sign this 5-year contract at the club at the end of the season to stop the uncertainty over his future. If he signs this contract, it will keep him under contract on Man United until 2025. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Also, too, Wan-Bissaka, he's enjoyed a very, very good season. Like I said, his defensive contributions always been very, very good. We've recently seen the attacking side of his game, because I said that's something he needs to work on. But in the last couple of games, Bissaka hasn't really created much. He hasn't really got on the end of anything. Got in good positions, but hasn't really, like I said, got on the end of anything. And he's looked fatigued in the last couple of games as Bissaka. Do you think he needs a rest for us? But he's still done very, very well. Harry Maguire, he's had some bad games and he's had some good games, but still think he's enjoyed a very, very good first season with the club. Victor Lindelof, same sort of perception. He's had some bad games and he's also had some good games, so he's also a mixture. Shaw, I've been, very, very impressed with him this season. He's injured now. Obviously, he missed the first part of the season with injury. And my only element of concern about Luke Shaw, he is injury prone. So I've been very, very impressed, with the vast majority of our players. And I want, this team to replicate, what the team did under Alex Ferguson, because we had a lot of great players under the Alex Ferguson era. We had Wayne Rooney, he enjoyed, 13 years at the club. We had the likes of Roy Keane, Michael Carrick. He enjoyed 12 years at the club. Paul Scholes, Cristiano Ronaldo. He enjoyed 6 years at the club. We had the likes of Beckham. Solskjaer, like I said, he was also great as a player. Ferguson, developed a lot of young players, and, Ferguson enjoyed 26 years at Manchester United. Like I said, won a total of 38 major honours, 13 of them, including 13 Premier League titles. Ferguson enjoyed 22 years of success out of the 26 years he was with us, because don't forget Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. And in this unbeaten run, I've got glimpses of the Alex Ferguson days. I don't think anyone will replicate Ferguson's legacy. I don't think anyone will last as long as Ferguson did. But I still think, we can get back to where we want to be under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era and that. So I've got to probably say this is the best team I've seen since, the Alex Ferguson, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. Like I said, we've recruited a lot of players in the last 7 years. We've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. And I said, didn't I, a lot of the players that we've brought in the last 7 years have not been the right calibre players for Man United. Obviously, we bought Fellaini in under Moyes. That was a mistake. Shouldn't have brought him in. We bought Mata in under Moyes. To be fair, I think Juan Mata's done good, so I don't think we made the wrong decision getting him in. But Mata now obviously doesn't get in the team because this has now been Mata's 6th season at Manchester United. He's been a long servant. Van Gaal era, we brought a lot of players in. I think Van Gaal brought like 16 players in. He brought the likes of Sneijderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger. They weren't the right calibre players. Di Maria, he wasn't the right player. Falcao, he wasn't the right player. Rojo, don't think he was the right player. Darmian wasn't the right player. Martial and Shaw, yeah, we did make the right decision by bringing them in because they've done very, very well. We bought Romero in under Van Gaal. We brought Ander Herrera in under Van Gaal. So we brought a lot of players in under him. Mourinho, he recommended 11 players into the football club, did Jose Mourinho. And, the vast majority of his team is Jose Mourinho, so let's put into the equation Solskjaer's inheriting the vast majority of the players that Jose Mourinho brought in, because there's only a few players that have left, since the Jose Mourinho era. In the last 7 years, we spent close to the £1 billion range on these players. So people will say, reflect on the money we spent. We should be where Liverpool are, or minimum, where Manchester City are. But obviously, we are not. And obviously, no, we are not. But yeah, so hopefully, we can get the players that we want in the summer transfer window and that. But like I said, Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season, even if we weren't to get qualification for the Champions League, even if we weren't to win the FA Cup or the Europa League, I still think he will be here because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. I still don't know if Solskjaer's a foreseeable future for the club. Time will tell. I think he's the right man at this moment in time. Reflecting on how good we've done. My perceptions were totally contrast earlier on in the season because earlier on in the season, don't forget, we enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And at that point, there was talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in. There was talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming in. And, the results just weren't going our way earlier on in the season. But like I've said to you, a lot of aspects of our game have really, really improved. We're scoring more goals now. We're creating more chances. The combinations in the team have improved. Our football looks more expansive. You can say defensively, we've looked better. But don't get me wrong, there's still things we need to work on. We need to be more quicker on the ball. We need to be more quicker on the flanks. Maybe there's still a few players that do need to step up to the plate. Maybe some of Solskjaer's decision making needs to improve a bit more. I think it has improved. I think it's improved a bit because earlier on in the season, Solskjaer's decision making was atrocious. It really, really was. He didn't have any plan A. He didn't really have any plan B, and just didn't really know how to change a game. But it's good as well, because reflects how long Solskjaer's been with us. He's gained managerial experience. Because he's been here 18 months, like I said, which is a year and a half. And Man United is the third club in his managerial career. So, yeah. You saw my video that I did earlier on. Well, I've done 2 videos today. This morning, I give you my starting 11 prediction for the Chelsea-Man United game in the FA Cup semi-final tomorrow at Wembley. I also give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference earlier on as well. Obviously, like I said at the beginning of the press conference, Solskjaer provided us with some news on Shaw and Williams. He's confirmed Shaw will not be playing. Shaw has got an ankle injury. But we've got good news regarding Williams. He said that Williams could be available. He said he was going to be training today. Williams has been out with a head injury. I said if Williams and Shaw weren't going to be available, then I said, Fosu Mensah may start at left back again. Fosu Mensah played against Crystal Palace. That was his first appearance for the club in over 3 years. And I thought, he made a fantastic impact, to be quite honest with you. But Fosu Mensah was, out for a while with injury. But I think Williams will start anyway. Don't forget Solskjaer has been speaking about Lingard, saying that he values Lingard. And, Lingard played a part in the Crystal Palace game. And that was the first time he played in the Premier League since February, Jesse Lingard. Solskjaer got asked, does he believe that Lingard's still got a big future at the club? And, Solskjaer said that, well, he's been part of the club for several years. He's worked hard and all of that. And, he said he's got good qualities, but his qualities are different to other players. Lingard, could actually start this game tomorrow against Chelsea, or at least be involved if he doesn't start the game, because Lingard's got a good reputation he's got a good reputation as Jesse Lingard at Wembley and that, because he scored in quite a few of our finals, don't forget. He's obviously been talking a lot about Martial and Rashford recently, as well as Solskjaer, saying that, they've played alongside each other, for several years now, because you've had Rashford that's been at United since the age of 7. Rashford's been in our senior squad since 2016. You've had Martial that's been with us since 2015, and now he's into his 5th season at Man United. And, they have been challenging for the same position, of Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, because you've got Martial that can play centre and can play out wide, and you've got Rashford that can play centre and can play out wide. But the positions have already been confirmed. Martial plays centre now, Rashford plays out wide on the left. But he's been very, very delighted with them players. Also, too, Solskjaer did say that our rivals are trying to create a narrative over VAR, because Solskjaer has actually hit back at Frank Lampard and Jose Mourinho over VAR claims. Because obviously, Frank Lampard's been talking recently, saying that, Bruno Fernandes' penalty against Aston Villa, shouldn't have stood. Obviously, the Jordan Ayew goal was also mentioned. A lot of people saying, that should have stood. I think 7 disallowed goals have gone against us this season from VAR. I think we've been given like 13 penalties this season and all of that. But, this is what also Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had mentioned. Like I said, he also mentioned Mason Greenwood. But I think in this game against Chelsea tomorrow, Solskjaer will definitely make rotation in the squad. He'll make quite a few changes. He will make quite a few changes. I expect Romero to be in goal, because Romero's played in all of our cup games so far. De Gea will be dropped for this one, I think. Like I said, I think Matic will probably start this game. Ighalo won't start, but I think he'll definitely be involved, Ighalo, because Ighalo's our top goal scorer in the FA Cup. Lingard could possibly start. Fred could even possibly start. So he will make some changes. He only made 2 changes in the Crystal Palace game, because in the 5 previous games prior to the Palace game, he went with the exact same team. And that's the first time we've done that since February 1993, which is now 27 years ago. But like I said, really, really looking forward to the game tomorrow. We're 2 games away from winning the trophy. Solskjaer says our focus is to get to the final. This ain't going to be an easy game against Chelsea, like I've mentioned, because Chelsea are very, very good in the FA Cup. They've won 12 of their last 15 FA Cup semi-finals. Chelsea did beat us in the FA Cup final in 2018 by 1-0. Don't forget, Eden Hazard had scored it. So we've played Chelsea quite a few times in the FA Cup. If we do beat Chelsea tomorrow, it will be the 4th time we've beaten them this season. Because obviously, we've already beaten them 3 times this season. We beat them earlier on in the season, 2-0 at Stamford Bridge, beating them 2-1 in the Carabao Cup at Stamford Bridge, and beating them 4-0 on the opening day of the season at Old Trafford. And we beat them 2-0 in the Cup last season. So we actually are unbeaten against Chelsea since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in as Manchester United manager. We progressed to the semi-finals of the Cup by beating Norwich in the quarter-finals 2-1, beat Derby in the 5th round 3-0, beat Tranmere in the 4th round 6-0, and we beat Wolves in the 3rd round replay by 1-0. So we've only conceded 1 goal in the FA Cup to this point. So we have done, very, very well. But if we can win the FA Cup, we'll be on 13 FA Cups. We're on 12 FA Cups at the moment. We are just 1 behind Arsenal. Arsenal, the most successful team in FA Cup history at the moment. They've got 13 of Arsenal. But like I said, Lampard will want to get one over Solskjaer. Chelsea, haven't been doing great recently. Like I said, they grinded a 1-0 win out against Norwich. The recent loss to Sheffield United 3-0. But one admission I've got to make regarding Chelsea is that they've done good recruitment so far. They're spending around £80 million on 2 players. They got Werner from Leipzig for around 48 million. They got Hakim Ziyech from Ajax back in February for around, 37 or 38 million pounds. Chelsea are looking to build on this, looking to get Havertz on the board. I think at one point Ben Chilwell was their number one priority target, but they have done very, very good business. The good news is that N'Golo Kante will be missing the game tomorrow for Chelsea because he's got an injury. I think also too Billy Gilmour will be missing the game. I think Chelsea have also got Marco van Dingle out. But I think Frank Lampard's enjoyed a good season for Chelsea. Don't forget this has been his first full season with Chelsea. Chelsea's the second club in his managerial career because obviously, last season he began his managerial career with Derby and got Derby, to the playoff final. But I really, really am looking forward to this game. I really, really am. So that's really everything to update you with today. And like I said, if we can get rid of players in the summer transfer window, we are going to generate money that way. I think, like I said to I think we've already put 6 players up for sale. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you with now. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.